Hello, everybody. Hello,
Welcome.
hello. We today are talking about one of the most important topics that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life as you develop the tribe that elevates you, the friendships and the individuals around you that you love so much, that love you and support you, and really help you develop the life that you want to live.
So today is day 22, 2-2,
2 2.
and we are going for 365, maybe beyond, to be determined.
Absolutely. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, the Truka Show. We are live, helping you grow, helping you thrive, helping you learn, helping you become the greatest version of yourself. So, welcome back.
So I'm excited for today's show because we're going to dive into something that is one of the most impactful things in your not only business, but in your entire life. And this is something that nearly destroyed my business, is not knowing how to do what we're about to show you. And it's one of those things that if you do it right, you have no idea the horrible things you've missed. But when you've done it wrong, everything sucks. And so before we dive in, Leo, how you feeling today on day 22, brother?
I am feeling good.
Yeah?
I'm feeling as energized as I can be. This morning was really good.
Yeah.
I had this philosophy I've been learning to basically be a kid again. Allow yourselves to play some music, visualize yourself being a kid, and it just allows the stress to kind of wear off of you. And I challenge you guys today, allow yourself to be a kid. Allow yourself to, be a little whimsical. I just learned that word. I started using it a lot. And it's really
Whimsical.
this love of God, right? The understanding how God has always loved us as children and being that person again, it really does heal your heart and it allows for stress to kind of just wash away from you.
That's amazing, man. And what would you say in just experiencing trying to like relive being that kid? Like, what did that do for you, or how did that adjust and what could have otherwise been stressful?
Well, as a kid, I was always dancing. I was always playing around. I was always carefree about everything. But I always had such big dreams.
Yeah.
And I have such big dreams now, but every now and then a limiting belief comes in. How can you do that? Is that too big? Right? Are you thinking too strong? Are you thinking too far ahead? But myself as a kid, I would just dance. I would groove. I would say things. I would smile. I was very charismatic as a kid,
Yeah.
and I just didn't think too much. And I think sometimes as adults, we get a little bit little bit dull and a
Yeah.
little bit colorless as we start seeing the world through the lens of what society wants us to see it, and that whimsical side of us, that childlike version of ourselves, kind of goes away.
Yeah. I think that's well said. And I think as leaders, as men, as leaders, whether you're father, husband, whether you're a wife, a mother, like as leaders, home, family, business life, I think sometimes we can feel the overwhelm of those perhaps that we're leading or we feel responsible for. And as leading community, and you see people going through tough times, and you feel a a great need to help them become who they desire to be. And I think that's an awesome responsibility. And it's also the opportunity to, as you sense maybe more stress than you would just in your life, to exercise those habits that give you the ability to inspire. And that's something you consistently do, as I see you just step into the inspiration and inspire not only yourself, but those you're around. I think that's a very powerful thing. But what else goes through your mind?
Well, I think it leads us right into our topic, right? Because I like to be around people who bring out that side of me, that bring out the best in me, right? Because the best in me sometimes was the kid that was always there,
Yeah.
that was just saying what he wanted to say. It was just very happy, was just very enthusiastic about life. And the friends that I have around me and my inner circle, as we know, are the people who bring out that side. So today, really, we're talking about something bigger. We're talking about how your circle, your inner circle, your outer circle is your power. We're going to teach how to build a tribe that elevates you, that brings out the best in you, and really allows you to create the business, create the life that you want, because sometimes we have to be in this state.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, life gets too hard. It gets stressful. You kind of dull yourself away when you don't have the right people around you.
So by the end of today, you're not only going to have clarity on how to be more, what'd you call it? Be more productive. Be more productive as a person, but be more productive by who you are surrounding yourself with. Your team, your partners, your friendships, people who lift you up and inspire you, not people who drag you down and cause you to be more depressed or more overwhelmed.
Absolutely. So we're going to cover how to attract, how to build, and most importantly, how to maintain a powerful tribe of like-minded people.
Yeah.
People who inspire growth, people who challenge you, and people who genuinely celebrate your wins.
So
Right? They
huge.
really want you to win. And that is a rare thing nowadays, to have real friends who are secure enough in themselves where they say, I rejoice in your success. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. I think it was 2 episodes ago. We talked about rejoicing in someone else's wealth, rejoicing in someone else's success. You just did a deal. Awesome.
Let's go.
I'm ready. I'm going to rejoice in that. And I know I'm going to do more. And as I do more, you're going to rejoice in that.
Yeah.
And that's something within a friendship that we value so much. And whenever we think about friends, whenever we think about people we want to surround ourselves with, it's, do they have that character and that ability to rejoice in other success?
And that's so important as you're looking around, because I think if you've grown up around or been around consistently negative people, it's like that becomes a normal, right?
Yep.
And then you see people who are being negative or who are not happy about your winning or who always have a negative perspective on your wins. And that's a normal. And it's like, crap, everybody's negative. And it feels like everybody's negative because you're experiencing that. But as you surround yourself by and find your tribe, your people, we're about to show you how to do, oh, man, life gets so much more fun because every day is an adventure and a blessing. And anytime you're down, somebody else is raising you up. And the Bible actually talks about that. It says it's good to walk together because anytime one of you fall, the other can lift you up.
100%. So number 1, we're going to do this. We're going to audit your current circle. So type in the chat, audit, AUDIT.
We're going to audit our circles online here?
We're going to audit our circles online. Exactly. Guys, let me ask you a question. Think about it. Who in your life is truly helping you grow? And who in your life is keeping you stagnant? Right? Keeping you in the same place or below. Right? Who in your life are the energy givers? And who in your life are the energy drainers? Now, there's a quote that someone always said to me, and it was, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You guys have heard it. But what does that mean? It means that if you're with 4 people who think negatively all the time, they're listening to bad music, they're not putting you on to the right things, they're always expressing this negativity onto you, guess what? You're going to be the 5th person who develops that negativity, and that's going to be the way that you think about every opportunity in your life. Everybody that you meet, you're going to start adding that negativity to them. You start to become this poison, right? Let's just say you're around 5 boring people who just decided to be adults and let the dullness of adulthood get to them. Guess what? You are the 6th person who becomes that dull, boring individual who starts to add more boring stuff to other people's life. So when you just take a minute and say, who are the energy drainers and who are the energy givers in my life? The ones who say, I want to see you win. I just saw this video. You need to see it. I saw this quote. It's so incredible. Hey, we should go work out. You down to work out? Hey, I'll fly over to Dallas. I want to see you. I want to borrow some of your energy. I want to give you some energy too. I just want to see you. Who are those energy givers in your life? I could think of plenty in my life, right? Andrew, you are an energy giver to everyone you meet. That's why sometimes you can't have so many people around you, because you'll give them all your energy.
Right.
But also when you're around 2 energy givers at the same time, you kind of just bounce that off, right? You give energy and they're always going to give that back. They're not just a drainer, a taker.
Yeah. Well, I think all of you can relate to that person where every time you see them or that group of people and you go and you just leave feeling like absolute crap.
Right.
Because they drained your energy. And that's why personally, I strongly dislike the phrase of people who use the phrase, I want to pick your brain. And I say that because to me, it's like, my gosh, that's a painful process. And so as I look at things in that way, I go, okay, who is those who will not only collaborate, but I can actually have a great discussion with? I don't mind people, quote, picking my brain, but I look at it as them asking me questions and us sharing a discussion rather than painfully picking away at my brain. And I think that's a powerful perception that we can have as we're surrounding ourselves with the right people. Because if we ask great questions and we are more interested than we are worried about being interesting, that's where you become an energy giver. So ask yourself, how do I not only audit my circle, but how do I become someone who continues to attract great people? Now, as you're auditing your circle, what are the things that we are looking for in the people around us, Leo?
So one big thing is that understanding and that awareness of social cues.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you and I are in a conversation and I'm talking for 30 minutes, talking your ear off, it's going to drain your energy all throughout.
Yeah.
But if I understand that, hey, I've been talking for 3 minutes and you haven't been able to, but you also haven't been intently listening, let me change it up and get you to speak something that's passionate,
Yeah.
so you can get some energy and I'll borrow that. And then I can talk about something passionate. We can kind of throw it off of each other. That is social. That's awareness of social cues. That's awareness of how I am and awareness how you are. Those are the people who are the ones that if you are gone for a week, I'm not going to be like, Andrew, where have you been?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll never do that anyways, but they're the people who are saying, I know you're working hard. Like, I know
Yeah.
your values. I know you're hustling. You go do your thing for 3 months. I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. And when they come back, it's like they never left. You guys have those friends where you can not talk for 3 months and you hit them back up and it's like you never even had
left
those
off.
3 months.
Yeah.
You got right back to where you left off. Those are people who are very aware of themselves, of you, and your guys' relationship and dynamic.
Absolutely. What's the next one after we audit our circle?
So the next thing, number 2, guys, is be what you want to attract. Write that down. Type it in the chat. Be what you want to attract. Guys, every single one of us attracts in our lives what we reflect. If I start to embody the qualities that I want in others, I want people who are very charismatic. I want people who have good energy. I want people who are loyal, who take care of themselves, right? I myself have to embody that because like attracts like.
Yeah.
I have to be able to show the charisma. I have to show the passion and authenticity. And other people who are that same way are going to be like, hey, that's like me.
Yeah.
Right?
That's my people.
That's my people. And then you start to attract that. It's why they call certain people magnetic, right? You're a very magnetic person.
Yeah.
It's because your charisma shines and people can see that. And the people who are open to come and talk to you are also charismatic people. So that's why you want to be what you want to attract. And first, it starts with the awareness of understanding, who do you even want around you, guys? Do you want more energy givers? Do you want more entrepreneurs? Do you want more athletes? Define who those people are and then ask yourself, is there a characteristic that I can develop to draw in more of those connections? Because that is where all of a sudden your life starts to change. You as an individual starts to change and step into the best version of yourself, and that attracts the new tribe that you're going to find in the next couple of months.
Now, something that I didn't understand about being who you want to attract, Leo, and somebody listening to this may relate to this, but in the beginning of my real estate investing business, like I was always an honest person. I always wanted to do the right thing. I always wanted to help people.
Yeah.
And then when I felt that, but I would show up at events and I felt like I was chasing, right? Like begging for lenders or begging to connect with someone. I was like, what am I doing wrong? So I was like, I just need to give more. I just need to help more. And what I found was I wasn't stepping in or knowing how to be charismatic.
Right.
And I share that because you can have an incredible soul, right? Be an amazing person. But if it's not married with a charismatic personality, and that's something that I think is partially learned. Now, some people are just naturally charismatic, right? And you see people but most people who are charismatic, it's something, even if they had a little more leaning that way, that they have worked hard to become. And I think just letting yourself flow and not working on the person you want to become who is able to showcase. And I don't mean going around with a sign that says, I'm honest, talk to me, right? Yeah. But I mean, revealing that personality through your charisma.
Right.
Whether that's one-on-one conversations, whether that's on stage presentations, whether it's both, whether it's online. But if you can really reveal that love, loyalty, and heart of gold that you have by the actions you're putting out, the vibrations you're putting out, now it becomes a very fun thing for people of like mind to come hang with you.
Well, I tell people all the time, right? There's a version of yourself that is so charismatic. You just haven't allowed yourself to step into that yet, because you've been told no so many times. You've been rejected left and right. And I'll talk about myself and my
This is
story,
good.
right? I used to be so shy. I used to be so insecure and in my shell. And it's because for example, I didn't know how to talk to girls. I didn't know how to talk to people. I was so shy. And there was one point where my mom, she was like, Leo, I've been doing everything. I've been talking to all the people. Every time we go out and eat, why is it that I always have to talk? Right. And every time she was just tired. She was just let up. She was like, Leo, one day you're going to be a man and you're going to have to take care of me. You're going to have to take care of your sister. You're going to have to take care of your wife, your kids, and everything. What the fuck are you doing? Right. And I was 13. My 13-year-old self was like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? And then that day, she was saying, like, you are so charismatic. You just don't show it. Why don't you show that side of you? What happened?
Wow.
Right? Because as a little boy, I was dancing. I was, everything. I was just enjoying my life, and I wasn't insecure yet. Right? We're not born insecure. God does not say, I'm going to make an insecure human to put out there. Why would he do that? Insecurity is a disease. When you're insecure, you make other people insecure.
Yeah.
But God puts us out there, and he's like, I'm going to make this kid so golden. I'm going to make this kid so bright and dance and full of joy. And when my mom told me that, it helped me break through a little bit. We were in Cabo, Mexico. And I decided to go up to the tour desk because we were going to go scuba diving. And I'm walking up to this person. I'm so shy and so nervous, but I kind of just break through. I imagine like, hey, let me be like how I was before. Let me be this charismatic person. And I know it's in me. My mom just told me, right? So I go up to this person. I just say hi. I just smile and I say hi. We're looking to do a tour, scuba dive tour. Is that okay? And luckily, this woman was so nice. She was so charismatic. She was so joyful. And she said, yeah, here's everything you need, blah, blah, blah. Go to your mom. And my 13-year-old self, I was so happy. I waddled back to my mom and I said, Mom, look what I did. And she, to this day, tells me, Leo, that day warmed my heart so much because I saw you. I knew that you stepped into that person, and I knew that was going to be you. You were going to continue that version of yourself. And I did. And year after year after year after year, I got more and more charismatic, and I learned that version of myself helps other people. That version of myself is what's able to help my mom. And at that point, that's all I wanted to do, was to help my mom in any way, shape, or form. And I realized that we all have this version of ourselves inside of us, this charisma, this childlike charisma that's inside of us, this magnetic energy that's inside of us. But sometimes we have to chip off the clay that was stored upon us because of rejection, right? Because of getting told no so many times, because of societal norms that make us these boring, scared, insecure adults.
What if your mom had never said, like, Leo, you're charismatic, you're just not showing it? What if your mom would have just validated, oh, Leo's shy. Yeah, Leo don't like to talk to people. Like, can you imagine the difference than pushing you out of that at 13? Like, that's crazy.
I would not be where I am today.
Isn't that, you made me think, I had to look it up. You made me think of the story. You've probably heard it, Thomas Edison's mother.
I have not heard Thomas Edison's mother's story. Tell me, Andrew, about.
So Thomas Edison was handed a note one day in an envelope at school.
Okay.
And Thomas Edison took the note home to his mom, and his mom started crying. And Thomas looked at his mom and says, "What's it say?" And the note, she looked at him and quit crying and says, "It says that you're too smart and that we can't have you in the school with the rest of the kids because you excel past all of them, and that I need to start homeschooling you." And said she wrapped up the letter, put it back in the envelope, and started homeschooling him. She passed away years later, and he had forgotten all about the note. He's an adult. He's in his 30s. And he finds the note in his mom's belongings. And it said, "Your son is mentally deficient. We can no longer handle him at school."
Wow.
Whoa. And, of course, the story goes on to say Thomas Edison was a mentally deficient young man whose mom turned him into the genius of the century.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. What a good tie-in.
Yeah, I think of that because I see people who own an identity, and they live in that identity so long. I'm shy, I have ADHD, I have this, I have that, I have all of the things we tell ourselves. And some people believe because they're a woman, because they're a man, because they're a something else, whatever they deem as their difference is suddenly the story they tell themselves of why they can't succeed. And I love to look at people who think that they're undervalued or underprivileged and say, what if that's your superpower? Right? What if that's the very thing people look at you and go, oh my gosh, that stood out to me. If they was just like everybody else, they would have just been another guy, another person, another meeting. But you are extraordinary. Use the thing that you were insecure about to become the thing that defines you as the extraordinary. Use the thing that the teacher said you're mentally deficient. You'll never be a speaker. You'll never do this. You'll never operate a successful business. Or the ex who said you're too dumb. You can never build a business. You'll never succeed without me. Take all of that things and say, this is my driving force. Like, me and God got this. And that's exactly what I as I heard that, I just stepped back into that moment to say, wow, your mom was knowingly or unknowingly doing something so powerful in that moment, transforming you to step into the charisma you may not even known you had otherwise.
That's crazy right there. That's really good, because it really would have been me hiding for so long and so long and so long. And sometimes we have to look at ourselves and say, okay, what is the thing that I've been hiding from? And what is this part of me that I could break into that's already there? We just have to shed off some layers.
Yeah.
And it seems that some people that we know continually put on more and more and more layers on top of them, right? And it's only when they start to notice this part of them, like, hey, there's gold underneath, a little piece chips off, right? And I'm like, a little bit of charisma came out of you, right? And it's like, wow. A friend looks at you and says, Andrew, I don't know what that was, but that was awesome what you just did, right? Whatever it was, whether it was charisma, whether it was smarts, whether it was the fact that you handled a situation well, they just notice that. And they say, wow, Andrew, that was really cool what you just did. And then you're able to say, wow, maybe that was pretty cool. Yeah. And then you start to chip off a little bit of the clay. And all of a sudden you realize you were made of gold the whole time. Wow. And then that charisma was always there. Or those smarts were always there. You just had to fully believe in yourself in that case. And it sounds a little cliche sometimes, but what if you believe that you were the most charismatic person ever?
Well, here's what I ask, Leo. What if, when someone, whatever the disadvantage that they believed they had, like, what if you believed you were not charismatic? What if it was right? What if at 13 you were not charismatic? What if you didn't have any charisma, but you believed you had some you could step into? And so now you walked around acting charismatic. And here you are, a decade later, making money, building businesses. What if now you realize, wait a second, I never had any charisma. I just thought I was and was acting like I did. How much better than going to the last decade going, gosh, I wish I was likable. Right? Imagine you go through the next decade saying, my gosh, I'm so lucky that I'm the thing, whatever you believed your disadvantage to be. I'm so lucky. Like, this is my advantage. I have this. And you go through your whole life believing that's your advantage, even if it wasn't, yet you act as if it was. And now that creates your reality. What a powerful thing.
Boom. So here's something you guys can do. I just thought of this, and we talked about it not long ago. But that experience that I got when I was 13, it's because I had someone who loved me so much tell me, like, hey, Leo, you've always been charismatic. Just go try it out. And I did. And I kept it up, right? I continue to keep it up to this day. what I want you to do is next time you go to a coffee shop, or you know what, go to a coffee shop, the closest one to you, and maybe it's one you haven't been to before. What I want you to do is when you're ordering your coffee, order as if you were the most charismatic version of yourself. Like the 8-year-old version of you was just so happy to be there. Like bring that side back up and order coffee that way. You might just say, "Hi, how was your day?" Right? "How was your day today?" And they might just say, "This is so good." Right? And they say, "How was your day?" "It was fantastic. It was such a good day. Thank you so much." Right? Whatever it is, just practice that because they don't know who you are. This is why you want to go to a new coffee shop. They have no idea who you are. So you can go to that coffee shop and you can show up as that most charismatic person. And this person's just going to think that that's who you are. And I just want you to practice what it's like to be seen as a charismatic person from the first impression. Because this is going to teach you that other people like that. Right? They look at you. Some of them might be like, what's going on? Right? Like myself, I had a couple of moments like that in my life because I wasn't fully comfortable in it yet. But now as I meet people, I show up as that person that I started showing up in that first 13-year-old self. Yeah. And I've done it over and over and over again until you build charisma. So it's to say that I was not a charismatic person before, right? Maybe when I was 3 years old, but then those layers come up, but then you can practice again. Right? Because we all have charisma. It's just being able to show up authentically, being able to show up with love, being able to look at a person and say like, wow, I see awesomeness. I see God in you, right? Yeah. Just like you see in everyone else, I see God in you because he put us here for a reason. And if I look at you and find that reason, right? Or if I find that spark, that is what I believe charisma is.
Absolutely. Wow. That's good. Shall we move to number 4?
Yeah, I think we're on 3 though.
Oh, we're on 3.
Are we? Yeah. Number 3, guys. Type in the chat, proximity. Type in the chat, proximity. This is the power of proximity because success leaves clues. We understand this. You're going to want to find rooms where people are already doing the thing that you're so passionate about, the thing that you already want to do. And again, we're talking about building a tribe here, right? Yeah. If I want to find purpose-driven entrepreneurs, because that's who I'm becoming, then I want to get in rooms where there's already so many purpose-driven entrepreneurs and there's already people who have been doing it for years. Yeah. Because that's going to lift me up and allow me to surround myself with them so I can listen to how you think. Mm-hmm. Because right now my friends, they don't think the way that purpose entrepreneurs think, right? That's who I was 4 years ago. Yeah. So I needed to get around more people who thought like that. And that's where we met. Yeah. Because I got to an event in Key West. This is when I had done one real estate deal before I did anything else. I was couch flipping. And I thought, okay, none of my friends at home are thinking like this. Everyone else is doing 8 hours of school. It was during COVID. Everyone else was doing 8 hours of online school. I chose to do a different route. And I pretty much quit high school. Still graduated. But I pretty much quit high school to go full on into entrepreneurship. That's something not a lot of people know. And I flew my way to Key West, Florida, and I surrounded myself with a bunch of entrepreneurs. And actually, me being from San Francisco, liberal town of the entire planet, I was surrounded by liberals who were brainwashing me on a consistent basis. And all of a sudden, I'm around a lot of entrepreneurs, mostly conservative, mostly family-driven individuals, and Andrew was one of them. But that's what we mean by the power of proximity. That changed my life, and you know that. Yeah. It changed my life to be around those people. Imagine if I stayed in San Francisco. Maybe I would have been a liberal. Thank God my mom's a crazy conservative. But oh my God.
Knows?
Who knows?
Type it in the chat. TRE, target rich environments. TRE. That's exactly what you did. Is you got out of a not so target rich environment. Right. And you said, I'm going to go to a place to where there are people who are thinking and acting and investing like I want to think, act, and invest. And if there is a success that I need to be closer to, then you ask yourself, how do I become more like that person? If I want to invest on a bigger level, if I want to have consistent 6-figure months, if I want to build a portfolio, if I want to build a business, how do I put myself in the rooms where the people who are doing this are? Because that's where the magic happens, is the target-rich environment.
Absolutely. So make sure that you surround yourself and get into these type of rooms where these type of people are, because one event could change your life forever.
Something that you taught me when we go to event, because used to when I would go to target rich environment, I would think, number one, I went from, what can I get, right? Can I find a lender? Can I find this or that? To just giving, just brain dumping to people, right? And you taught me, Leo, connecting with people on a deeper level. And I think that was a powerful shift, because being in the right room is step A, but being able to connect with them on a deeper level through real conversation. I know we'll talk more about that, but a metric of success, know your metrics. A metric of success that Leo or myself use sometimes when we go to an event is, hey, I want to make at least 5 meaningful connections.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a more powerful thing to do than say, hey, I'm going to talk to 12 people. I'm going to get 12 phone numbers. I'm going to find a lender. I'm going to find something. It's creating meaningful connections.
And this brings us to number 4, guys. Number 4 is to curate conversations that matter. And I'm going to go deep into a topic here that will really elevate the way that you're seen, and to make your first impressions such a spark, right? Because people are never really going to remember what you say. You guys might not remember the things that we say, the stories we tell. You might remember the stories. But what you're going to remember is the way that we made you feel.
Now, dig in a little deeper on that, Leo, because something I've noticed that you are incredible at, and that is creating meaningful conversations.
Yep.
And in doing that, like, what is the framework or the foundation behind how the heck you do that?
So, guys, whenever you go to an event, whenever you go anywhere, be that 8-year-old kid again that's just so excited, right? Yeah. And part of me was very insecure when I was 8 still. Like, I was still very, very shy. But the other side of me was just so excited to meet people. Like, oh, you're so cool. You're so cool. You're so cool. Yeah. I didn't have the ego yet. I didn't know what ego was.
Right.
So I let that shine first. And what happens is I just become very charismatic through that. Like, I'm just excited to meet you. And I'll walk up and say, hey, my name is Leo. How are you? What's your name?
My name's Andrew.
Andrew. Yeah, awesome. Where are you from, Andrew?
I was born and raised in a little town called Belle Rive, Illinois.
Belle Rive, Illinois. I have no idea where that is. So Belle Rive to San Diego. How did that happen?
Oh, my goodness. So it was a long journey. But
you see what I'm saying? It's a very different conversation than just, hey, how are you? Hey,
what do you do?
Hey, what do you do? Awesome.
And I see you do this so many times, and I see you in a 7, 12, 15-minute conversation of people lighting up, because you're not just one of the other 126 people who shook their hand and said, I'm Andrew, what do you do? It's no longer that. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to tell you, my spouse this, or my business this, or some people, my kids this, right? And so you start immediately finding what lights them up. But what's some more ways you do that?
So my mom always told me, leave people better off than when you first met them. And that's something I saw my mom do so incredibly well. She still does it, right? Because she will smile and she will make you feel like you're the only person on the planet.
Yeah, she does.
And she'll just be right there with you. People will be doing a bunch of things. She's like, I don't care. I'm just looking. How are you doing? Right? But you see, she doesn't ask, how are you? It's like, how are you? Like, how are you? And when you ask someone that, guys, when you ask someone how they're really doing, like, how are you? Like, no. How are you really doing? It gets them similar to the feeling of when you're having a hard time and your mom gives you a hug and you kind of just like let it all out. Or the feeling like when you are belching out laughing and after that's like, oh my God, that was so funny. Yeah. And then you sigh. Imagine if you could give someone that feeling every time you meet someone, right? You're an absolute breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Every time. And it's just by smiling sometimes, right? Because you can change someone's life by just simply giving one of these. And it really brings the barriers down. So whenever you meet someone, you can use the principles in how to win friends and influence people.
Somebody just screenshotted that to remind them how to smile.
Right, exactly. Smile more. Smile more. Get smile lines. Like, I am so proud of my smile lines and my wrinkles here because I smile all the time. And it's always going to be something that people remember. It's like, hey, I smile at you. I ask how you're doing. But I also ask questions like this, right? Like, Andrew, you're from Bellrive and you're doing like real. That's awesome. Like, what is your passion?
Yeah.
Right? Or I'll ask him like, what is something you're just so like I'm genuinely curious. What is something you're so excited about working on this year? Questions like that get them to be like, huh, okay, there's no agenda here. This person just wants to know. And because I said I'm curious,
Yeah.
like that is why. That is the pure reason for why I'm asking this question. So you can let all your barriers down.
Wow.
Because if I didn't say I'm curious, you're saying, is he trying to sell me something? What is he trying to do? Is he going to scam me? Is he this? Is it going to attack me? If I just said, bro, I'm just curious. Like, what is something you're so excited about?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everyone drops their barriers, drops their ego, and we can just have a great, friendly, loving conversation. And I think that's how God wants us to have conversations in general.
Yeah.
Right? Is because I think that's where he can be brought up in conversation.
Wow. This is a whole masterclass on conversations, bro.
Absolutely.
I love this.
We could talk all day. This is why we do this damn show.
I think that is what you said there. It just leads to where it's supposed to, whether it's a conversation, because, it can be conversations about God, about business, about money, about family, about all the things that matter. Mm-hmm. All can just come from the questions you're asking right there.
So there was one thing in my life that changed my life the most, and you were there, right? And it was utilizing this right here at that event, and talking to everyone, right? It's where I met you. It's where I met Pace, where I met Jamil, all these other people. I just went up to them and just said, hi, like, how are you? And I never talked about me once.
Yeah.
When they asked me, I would tell them about myself.
Sure.
But I would always, but I want to know about you. And I did that over and over and over again. And I did it with the person that ran the event, Tim.
Yeah.
And I got to know him very well. But I also got to know his wife really well and his kids really well. Because I do the same thing. Yeah. When I talk to kids, like, hi, how are you? Like, tell me about yourself. And I do the same thing with the wife. Tell me about yourself, right? And I did that with everyone at the event. And what happened, guys, my life, again, I was 18. I had done one deal. I was in a position of like really wanting to grow. I was so hungry. But as I'm connecting with all these people, eventually what they did was they brought me on stage and they announced like, hey, this is an 18-year-old kid that is so hungry, that has just talked to everybody. Yeah. And everyone knew. It was like, because I talked to everybody. And everyone was like, yeah, that's the kid.
Event celebrity.
And then what happened is I started to get sponsored by them, right? People gave so much to me, and that's what gave me the opportunity to get out of my city, to move to Arizona, to start my first business. And that's what gave me the opportunity to get on stage, which gave me enough confidence to do content, which got me to 1 million followers, which got me to start building that business, which led me every step of the way to where I am today, having done a lot of properties, having built a lot of business, because I had these conversations with people and I completely allowed myself to be a kid.
That's crazy perspective, because the same amount can be accomplished in such a short amount of time when you're in the right rooms with the right people, making the right connections. And that bypasses so many years of grinding it out. Now, you still work hard. You still have to do some work sometimes, right? But the conversations that you have, that can be the difference between somebody wanting to give you the $1 million loan or saying, I don't know about that person. That could be the difference between somebody wanting to sell you the property or saying, I don't know about the person. It could be somebody wanting to partner up with you or not. So this is a very powerful masterclass, and I'd love, I know time won't permit, but I would love to dig in further, because as we travel internationally, I just watch you pick up the word, something you guys will find fun. We go to Japan, or we go to Bali, or we go to another country, and within moments of landing in that country, like Leo already knows the hot spots, already knows some of the language words to say hello and goodbye and where's food, the main things, right? How are you? My name is. Those few little lines that cause you to fast forward like you've been there for months. And I watch you do that over and over. And it's these, I don't want to say small things because they're really big things, but these small little shifts that put you way ahead of 99% of other people who flew into that country. or 99% of other people who made it to an event, all because you make great conversations. But before we go to number 5, and one of the very important things for longevity, is there anything else like conversations that somebody could like go start implementing today?
Yeah, based on what you just said, I've learned this idea and this universal principle that charisma is universal, right? It's the language of the world. And what I mean by that is smiling is something that's universal. If you go to Japan, if you go to Norway, if you go to Indonesia, you smile, they're going to smile back. It's the first step of charisma, the first step of magnetism, right? And the next thing is you can shake a hand, you can touch a shoulder, you could do any of these things. Laughter is also
Yeah.
a universal language. If I can make you laugh, right, or if I can laugh at whatever you say in a good way,
Yeah.
it's also a universal thing. I don't need to speak your language, right?
Wow.
I could just say hi.
Yeah.
They know how are you. They know hello. Most of the time, it's like, how
Yeah.
are you? And they'll giggle a little bit and they'll say like, oh, good, no English. I'll be like, me neither, right? And it's like you can make the person laugh just by like your body language and your smiles, and
Yeah.
immediately, boom, friendship is formed. And then once that is done, I can pull out my translator and be like, I don't know what I'm saying, but hello, right? And we can start building this type of relationship. So know that charisma is universal, and it's something to be learned, right? Sales is better because of charisma. Relationships are better because of charisma. Everything that you do is better when you have more charisma, and it's something that can be learned.
I love that. What's number 5?
Number 5 is one of the most important ones, because now you're equipped to make so many great relationships and choose your tribe and get around great people. And now you're so charismatic, making friends internationally. Number 5 is how to sustain meaningful relationships.
This is big, because to connect with somebody is one thing, but to maintain years or decades, that's where longevity is built, momentum is built, businesses are built, friendships that last a lifetime are built. So what's the foundation of longevity?
So the foundation here is what the relationship is built off of. Okay. We want to build relationships that are based on value, based on vulnerability, and shared visions. Okay. Everyone write that down, type in the chat, spam it in. Value, vulnerability, and shared visions.
3 V's.
Is it all V? Oh, yeah, shared visions. So let's explain each one. Value.
Yeah.
If we're in a friendship and you are this awesome entrepreneur and you've done so many houses and you're a mentor to many people, and I haven't, right?
Yeah.
And I want to be friends with you, but I have nothing to give. And I don't really want to give either. I just want to take, but I want to be around you. So I just say, hey, Andrew, like, can I go to one of your events? Can I be around for a little bit?
Pick your brain.
Pick your brain. Be a fly on the wall. And you're a nice guy. So like, yeah, you can come around. And then I go and I'm taking notes, and he's on his break, right? And I go to Andrew. I'm like, hey, I got a question for you, blah, blah, blah. Right? And I'm just taking.
Yeah.
But before you know it, Andrew's gonna be like, what is this kid doing? He's an energy drainer, right? But let's just say on the switch hand, Andrew's that way. But like, bro, I can film for you. I see some crazy clips of you. I see it. You mind if I film? Okay, cool. So I start filming Andrew, right? Start creating some cool clips. And then before you know it, I have a cool edit that I share with him.
Yeah.
That's actually how me and Andrew became really good friends.
That's true.
It's because he invited me to come to one of his events, but I went there with the mentality of servitude. How can I record? Hey, can I sell? Can I do any sales for you?
You made
right?
a really fire video from that event.
Yeah. And like whatever I can do. And I did a lot of things. And then that's how our relationship started, was through value. Yeah. And then you added more value to me. I added more value to you. Right. And that's why, of course, we've been able to create such a valuable friendship. But number 2, guys, is vulnerability. Right. When there's no vulnerability, there's always a mask. Right? Because vulnerability is just me. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I've been through. This is who I am. But anything other than vulnerability is having a mask on.
Right.
Because you don't want to show that part of you. So then if we're always having a mask on when we talk to each other, it's tiring.
Right.
Right? 10 minutes of a vulnerable 10 minutes of a non-vulnerable conversation is tiring. It's an act that you have to put on, and you have to be, because your mind's always thinking about the things you're thinking about, but then you won't talk about those things, so you have a mask on. But then imagine if we have that mask off and we're just talking about what's going on. Bro, it's been crazy. I've had these things going on. It's going to be a good day, but it's been crazy. How are you?
I'm awesome. A
All
little
right.
tired.
A little tired. That's okay. We're here.
We're here.
Vulnerability. That's
Yeah.
slight vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to trauma dump on you.
Of
You don't have to
course.
do the same thing, but at least we know symbiotically that we're going to share what's going on if we need to. And it's like, bro, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Same thing for you. You're here for me. That is vulnerability. So number 1 is value. Number 2 is vulnerability. And why don't you talk about number 3, which is shared visions?
So I talk a lot about friendships must be based on loyalty or connection. I think shared vision is the main piece of that. Meaning, if a friendship that you're in, there doesn't mean that you guys have to be have the exact same desire, passion, but you have to have a same frame of principles. Are you both, for example, trying to make the world a better place? The reason we partner together so well is because we have a similar vision in the way we want to make the world a better place.
Right.
And so the more those visions align, the closer you are able to become. And I think when you are clear about that vision, because a lot of people don't know what their vision is.
Yeah.
No shame in that. It's just many people haven't taken the time to figure that out. And then if they do, they've been around negative people, so they hesitate to share that vision. And so if the others are correct and the vulnerability is there and the value is there, now you can actually start to connect on a level of vision. And when you have similar vision or you're headed toward the same place, you can celebrate each other's win without any underlying tones. There is no negative undertone of like, no, I'm glad for you, right?
Right.
There's no underlying tones. It's like, way to go, man. Like, let's go. And you actually start to feel genuinely happy with no strings attached for other people, because you're like, dude, you're doing so much good in the world. Like, I love to see you win. And now you genuinely are cheering each other on. And I think as you create a long life relationship with the right friend groups, you notice. That's why I love to go to target-rich environments and meet amazing people, because out of those people, that's where you meet, yes, people you're going to do business with, buyers, sellers, lenders, deal makers, people who teach you to sell, people who buy your stuff, like all of the great things that happen where we serve each other. And then from all of those incredible people comes a small group of people that you'll be soulmates for a lifetime. And you'll have your group of soulmates around you that you guys can practically read each other's mind. And you'll have that friend that you can always go to. You'll have that business partner. You'll have those handful of people that you connect with deeply, that now you're no longer doing this business alone or life alone. Because business alone sucks. When you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, or when you feel like your wins you have to celebrate alone and your losses you have to bear alone. And so I think that is one of the most important pieces for sustaining long-term and meaningful friendships, relationships that are very value-based, but very much aligned in vision.
Now, people might be thinking, okay, Leo, Andrew, do we have to be in the same industry? Have to be in the same business?
Yeah.
And our answer to that really is, a vision could be for your life.
Right.
That you want to be the best version of yourself. I want to be the best version of myself. That's a shared vision.
Very
because
much.
we can help each other on that journey.
Yeah.
Right. We have friends who are in roofing, who do incredible roofing companies, but their vision is also to be a part of a tribe and to help the world and become the best version of themselves. That's a shared vision.
Right.
That allows us to connect at a higher level, because there's always a give and take that we can do. We can always add value to each other. And because sometimes personal development is just what it sounds, very personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's self-development. It allows us to go on our journey and still have people who are right along with us.
Right.
It's a lifestyle, personal development is, right? It's a lifestyle to become the best version of yourself. It's a
Right.
lifestyle to grow. And a lot of people who are not on the same lifestyle won't keep up. or they won't like that you're going so much ahead and you chose that way of life.
Yeah.
But then when you have people, again, with the similar visions of as you to grow, they're able to be vulnerable, and give. They always give more than they take.
Yeah.
Then you have a real tribe there.
Wow.
You have a real tribe that sustains itself. You have core friendships within that tribe that sustain themselves. And then it doesn't matter, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we're built on the same track, right?
Yeah.
And we're also built off of loyalty. And so there's no breakage there. There's no betrayal there, because that's what breaks most relationships. Is betrayal, is dishonesty, is disloyal, like those things. But our core values are based upon loyalty. And that's also why when you have those values and when you have that understanding that, hey, it's I give as much as I can to you, but I'm not giving to an energy taker. I'm giving to an energy giver. So if I lift you up,
Yeah.
you're going to be a better man to lift me up.
Right.
What a
it
great
never
thing.
stops.
It never stops.
And I think, having been through, and for any of you who experienced this, been through failed partnerships and failed all sorts of failed things, and, going through tough times where you believe certain people are friends and find out who the few actually are that are your true friend. I used to kind of bemoan that fact, right? It's like, oh crap, you get disappointed, but then you realize that just opens up way for the true people, for the people who were meant to be. And I realized that I used to suck as a pre-screener of friendships and partnerships. And then you start to say, okay, wait a minute. I know now what to look for. I know what the foundation of loyalty and trust. And most people, and I don't mean to say this in a negative way, because there's a lot of incredible people, but most people desire to see you do well, just not better than them.
Yep.
And when you're in a group, or that's the people who you're surrounded with, in order to feel good from them, you have to always make sure you're not quite as high as them.
Yep.
And when you find those true people who actually genuinely cheer your success on, whether it's below them, above them, or anywhere in between, that is your people. It doesn't mean you have to be far away from someone who doesn't cheer you on. It just means that that's probably not your closest tribe. And so pre-screen them well. Know where it is, because when you're around someone who is not excited for your success, you're probably going to not quite be as vulnerable or as transparent, because you don't need that negativity of, no, glad you closed the deal, but what if it goes sideways?
Yep.
You don't need that in your life.
Guys, if you do this for a couple of months, you learn this. And of course, on this Truka show, this is what it's all about. It's about developing your mind, just developing your discernment, so you can discern how is a person seeing you.
Right.
Those things become so apparent. It's like a smell, right? It's like negative energy is so fucking stinky. It's like, whoa, get out of my face. The moment they say certain things.
Yeah, you can almost just know. Smell it out.
You smell it from a mile away as soon as someone's walking over to you, right?
Yeah.
Because you saw how they treated the other person. These are the people we like to surround ourselves, who are very aware of themselves, of other people, and also social dynamics. Because us at our place, we have to always be careful not to let certain people into our lives.
Right.
Because if you let the wrong person, if you let the wrong poison into your tribe, they're going to poison the whole tribe.
Yeah.
It's just like back when tribal days, you get the wrong person who can fake like they're part of the tribe. They can get in there, set the whole place on fire, and they're done.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure to pre-screen incredibly well, because it's not just, here's the thing. This is a topic that we weren't going to talk about, but guys, you just learned so much about building a tribe, and you're going to have a responsibility to be a great leader of that tribe or be a great member of that tribe, right? It just means you're building it. But if you let the wrong person in to that tribe, everybody loses out.
And you'll find when you deal with challenges in a very mature but direct way, that most people will not only like you more, but more importantly, respect you more.
Yep.
On rare occasions, somebody who was not meant to be, who had horrible energy, maybe, they fall out of the group, and that's okay too. But I've seen many people who come in and they just didn't realize they was being negative. And you address it head on and you say, hey, we don't do negativity around here. We have a problem. We deal with it directly. We don't do drama. So fix it or fix it by not being here. Your choice. And when you can handle things, of course, with finesse, but with that direct communication, many times they solve themselves. But most importantly, you'll be an incredible leader who can lead a awesome tribe.
That's right. So me and Andrew kind of just went in on this topic. Whoa. And we didn't get enough time to shout you guys out. So I wanna do that now. Andrew, I'm gonna put some people's chats up here. You can shout them out. First, Randy, what is going on?
Randy, so good to see you always, brother.
So good to see you. Miss Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
She's amazing.
Nice to see your smiling.
Alessia.
What's
I
up,
never
Les?
called you Alessia. Les, amazing. Hello.
Nice to see you.
Bill, always on it.
Bill
is always on it.
Man, you
Guys,
crushing
it is so
bro.
good to see every single one of you guys. And thank you so much for being
Amanda,
here
good to see you.
in the first parts of this show.
Marlon,
of me and Andrew getting used to this, getting used to having these conversations. Because we have these conversations, guys, every day.
yeah,
And it happens every day, and we grow every day. And we decided to just put cameras up in front. And that's pretty much what has happened.
yeah.
Is we have just put a couple cameras. Hey, Roberta, how are you?
Roberta, nice to see you, my friend.
It's so good to see you guys who continue to come back. What's up, Josh? Josh is our Muay Thai trainer, by the way.
So good to see you, brother.
I just feel like our family's
I
all
love your
here.
profile picture. That's fire.
I
American
know.
flag.
What?
Melissa,
What a
good
great
to see
time.
you.
Okay. What's up, Melissa? Alessi says, who here is coming to the San Diego event next week? Who is coming to the San Diego event next week? It's February 5, 6, and 7. I'm pretty sure we're sold out. That's why we took the event thing away here. Me and Andrew are going to talk to the venue to see if we can add more seats. But who has already got their ticket? Who's already coming to the event? Type in the chat. Yes, we want to shout you out. I know Les is coming. Bill's going to be there. And a lot more of you guys that I see in the chat. So super excited. Carly's going to be there. What's up, Carly?
Heck yeah. Nice to see you, my friend.
Awesome, guys. Well, this has been such an incredible, incredible talk. Quick recap. We talked about number 1, audit your current circle. Who in your life are the energy givers?
Yeah.
And who in your life are the energy drainers? And then we have number 2, Andrew.
Number 2, be what you want to attract.
You attract what you reflect. Work on embodying the qualities that you want in other people. Passion, charisma, authenticity, purpose. We talked about number 3, which is the power of proximity. Let's talk about that.
Success leaves clues. Find the right people in the right places, target rich environments, and show up and be around those people as much as you can.
Yes, get the word networking kind of out of your head. Networking is the overall thing, but it's about real connection that you're creating every day. We talked really heavily about curating conversations that matter. Right, Andrew? What are you passionate about?
Yeah.
Right? How are you really? See that charisma that comes out, guys, when you really care about the person on the other side of the conversation and you're not thinking so hard about what you're trying to say next. And then lastly, we talked about
how to sustain meaningful relationships, longevity of relationships, and
So
how
important.
that they can last a lifetime, and how to build deep, meaningful relationships. Make sure that it's not just a surface level. For your soulmate, your core group, you support each other, you grow together, you live together, you die together. You got this. So find your tribe. And on the wall of the cold plunge place we go to, it says, find your tribe and love them hard.
absolutely. Gotta love your people. And we love you guys. We love that you guys are here and we are building our tribe and want to continue to invite you to become the best version of yourself and continue to build your vision because we want to be around those individuals and we want to guide and help and really support as much as possible. Guys, the Truka Show is all about that. It's about helping you become that greatest version of yourself across all aspects of your life to help you become the best leader you can be, to help you thrive in all aspects, be the most charismatic person, and continue to do this every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thanks, guys. Tomorrow, same place, same time. We'll see you here for Freedom Friday.
Deuces.
Bye for
Bye-bye.
now.